Hi there, my name is Mark, and I'm really excited to share with you how I've introduced macOS tags in a workflow that I'm using to incorporate new files into my knowledge database. Now, that knowledge database is really just a series of org files which are held together using org-rome. It's a database of files. Now, I have a four-step process for this. The first is going to be tagging the file. Now, once that file is tagged, it's going to be renamed using a 4-character ID. Then it will be moved to an appropriate folder on my file system. And then we will be linking from my knowledge database to that reference file. We're going to start off by talking about tags. So here you can see I have a file. Actually, let's go ahead and just space into this to see what it is. It is a matplotlib cheat sheet. So this is a Python library. And what I want to do is tag this. Let's go ahead and try it. I'm on here, Command O, I have access to my tags that quickly. Awesome. Now for this particular file, it was Python. So I could go P for programming, P again for Python. Let's confirm that. We also said that it was a reference. So I'm going to go R. That's going to show me all my reference tags. And then I'm going to hit C for cheat sheet and confirm to enter. And I'm going to press enter one last time to append these tags to the file metadata. So that's all done now. Great. The next thing I want to do is rename this file using this 4-character ID. Now for this, I'm going to use Emacs. I also have a script on the command line for this, but since I have Emacs almost always open, I am going to run a function and I can access it. And this tells you how often I use it. I've mapped it to space J. And what this has done, it's gone to a file on my file system, which is just a text file, and it locates the first line. And it finds the next ID in my file system that I can use. And in this case, it's AAZZ. I'm going to confirm, yeah, I want that. This is then going to delete that line in the file and take that ID and place it on the clipboard. I can then come to my file, press enter, and paste that in, and my file is now renamed, and it's also tagged. The great thing about using these IDs, they're unique, and I don't have to think about what should I name this file. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. Now the next thing to do is move this file to an appropriate location. And for me, this is located within my knowledge database, which is my macOS directory. And all my resources are located in the resource directory. And this file that we just renamed and tagged is actually a reference file. So I'm going to go into my reference directory. You can see I already have a bunch of files in here. And I'm just going to take this file and drag it in here. So there it is. Now the last step is to bring this into my knowledge management system, which is going to be accessed through Emacs. And I'm going to navigate to my file system, through my file system here, to Documents, macOS, that is my database. And this is a Python file. So I'm going to first start in my Python org file here. And you might say that this is a Python cheat sheet. And yes, it is. And in fact, we will add a link to this file in just a moment here. But more appropriately, this is probably related to the Python library called matplotlib. And you can already see that here I've linked to 3 other cheat sheets. In fact, if I click on this one, it opens up another cheat sheet. And I want to do the same for the file that we're going to bring in. Now earlier I said we didn't need to concern ourselves with coming up with a descriptive file name. However, we do need to know something about the contents of the file to be able to find things. So what I'm going to do now is describe its contents. Well, it is a matplotlib num focus, I don't know, version. So you can come up with any description that you want, and then comes the linking part. So I am just going to go ahead and run a custom command here. You can see that this is called org insert link file, and it's assigned the key binding space LF. So let's go ahead and do that, space LF, And now all I need to do is navigate to that file. And we saw earlier that was within my org roam, within resources, and then references. And then I just type in the file name, or at least try to navigate to it, AAZZ. There it is. Hit enter. Great. And now I can actually go ahead and reference that file from within my org roam database. Pretty cool. Now, another thing I can do here is if I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't want to say version there. I just wanted to say cheat sheet instead. So I could just go ahead and write cheat sheet. And the cool thing is it still works because it is linked by the ID and not this description. I could even take this line, go back into my Python file and add this to my Python cheat sheets. And then maybe I want to change this to a library matplotlib here. And it'll still work. I'm still referencing the same file, and I can adjust my descriptions without affecting the file name. You might be asking, wait a minute, you've got this great database to organize your files. Why do you need tags? Well, sometimes I am in Finder, and I want to be able to filter the content. So for example, if I scroll down in the sidebar here and I go down to reference cheat sheets, I can quickly filter all the files within my references, and I can maybe ideally find the file that I'm looking for. So I've really added another dimension to working with my files using tags outside of the Emacs ecosystem. So there you have it, how I've introduced macOS tags into a custom workflow. My name is Mark. Thank you for watching.